Hello, everyone. We are so excited about our episode today. We have Rich Genoval, founder and lead person of the Ever After band. They are just, I watched some of your things on your website and I was like up and dancing in my office.
Yeah.
They will help you go from being stressed out about what is this night going to be like to everybody walking out the door going, that was the most fun we have ever had. It's funny because he says their motto was simple: no guest leaves without sore feet from dancing, sore cheeks from smiling, and there are probably some errant shoes laying around under people's tables because they took their shoes off and forgot all about them. Live music for luxury, fabulous events. That would be your wedding. Sounds, I don't know, it sounds as close to the real thing as you can get. I don't kind of understand that, but Rich, you'll tell us about that because it seems like it is the real thing. Um, Ceremony music, sound for your ceremony. We love that. Total customization, sparklers, smoke, fountains, lighting, anything you need, they are going to put together in the most professional way. So it really does feel like a Broadway production at your own personal wedding. But I do love your tagline. It's not a band, it's an experience.
Yeah, yeah.
Love it. Love it.
I
So
love that.
tell us, Rich, tell us all about you all.
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to chat with you both. Big fan of your podcast.
Thank you.
Um, yeah, so I just want to kind of touch on what we mean by it's as close to the real thing as you can get. As you probably saw in some of the videos floating around on the internet and on our website in particular, I am I call myself a vocal chameleon. When we cover songs, we want to make it as authentic as possible, and one of the ways that we do that, and it's kind of a thing. I don't know if any other bands in the in the country can do it, but we really try to shift. I try to shift the vocal quality to sound exactly like the artist that you're hearing. So
Oh,
we
I like
we go
that.
from
Oh,
Bruno Mars to Pitbull to Andrea Bocelli to Frank Sinatra. Um, so it's an interesting little aspect. We have a real ear. Usually, it's an eye for detail. We have a real ear for detail.
Okay. Okay.
cool.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, it's a total. It's a. That's why we say it's not really a band. It's an experience. It's more than music. You know, your wedding, an event, gala, anything like that that has live music or any kind of entertainment. It's more than the songs you're hearing. It's about the way they make you feel. And we believe music is energy, music is memories.
Hmm.
It's this nostalgic thing. I think any one of us can pinpoint exactly where we were in our lives when a particular song comes on.
Yeah.
Uh,
Hmm.
Similarly, you know, if you were to watch your favorite movie scene without music, the impact would change. You know, if you watched it just hearing the actors' dialogue. Uh, so we believe in the power of music, and we believe that it's a huge aspect in making that night completely unforgettable. So
Yeah.
we try to let that music hit your ear in a way that almost sounds like a recording. In fact, we've been accused of it a few times, which is we take it as a high compliment.
Yeah, it really elevates your event, and I'm with you. The power of music, it really, I love it. I love it. And when you're going to a wedding, of course, Celia and I are officiants. We think
Hmm.
the ceremony is just such a beautiful way to start the evening. And of course, you look forward to the food, but I think what everybody is really looking forward to is the music and the dancing. And I just love a
Absolutely.
live band. And I do see here on your website, one man, 90 voices, right? Yeah.
That's it. That's it. So that video went insanely viral during the pandemic on TikTok. It got tens and tens of millions of views, and we had been doing it forever. And I when we were, when weddings were not happening, I was like, I think I'm going to just put some of these voices online, and it's been a really fun thing. So that is a special little element we like to bring. But as you mentioned, Celia, yes, we do also focus on production because what's a band if you have to outsource sound and you have to outsource lighting and things like
Yeah,
that. So we really do try to make the entire event, we call it from the aisle to the after party, we've got you covered. We
I
don't, I
like
mean,
it.
you guys are efficient. We want to make sure those wonderful ceremony, the vows and the beautiful words that you've written can be heard crystal clear. So we like to just make that experience completely seamless from start to finish.
Right. Doing a wedding or an event is different than just playing a concert. You have to
Hmm.
know all those aspects of it. And you guys will provide ceremony music. I know you have some instruments that some of your band members can play some beautiful ceremony music, go to cocktail music, and then into the party. And those are three different things completely.
Yes, absolutely. There are three different energies, and we like to call
Yes.
ourselves energy dealers. So we want to, during the ceremony, we can do something. If you have a vision for an intimate walk down the aisle, it can be an acoustic guitarist, it can be a classical pianist, or if you want to make more of a bold statement, we can offer a full string section for cocktail hour. We can do a sax player if you wanted to have that kind of New York City chic lounge vibe.
Mm,
We can go as large as a jazz, quintet. Um, and for the reception, we're flexible as well. We offer lots of different collections. We can go anywhere from 6 or 7 pieces all the way up to a 12-piece full orchestra. So
wow.
really, there's
Wow.
there's no vision too small or too large. We want to make people's events. We want to bring them to life. We want that movie in their mind to come to life.
Yeah.
Wow. Sounds
That's
like
wow.
fun to me. I know.
Yeah,
Sounds like fun.
absolutely.
Well, and I think, what Andrea just pointed out too is that there are three different events going on at a wedding when there's, the ceremonies at the same space. It's like you've got the, ceremony, and then you've got cocktail hour, which is a different atmosphere altogether. And then, we have party time, and it's so great to have a group of musicians who get that and can make each part of that evening like a standalone event by itself. I
Right.
like it.
Absolutely.
I like it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's cinematic. I mean, whenever I envision a wedding, and I'm sure it's the same with our couples, it's kind of like we view it as a film score in real life, in real time.
Mhm.
So when you're coming down the aisle, there's a movie playing in your mind, and you really want that to come to life in the right way. And I find that nothing makes a movie more complete than the perfect soundtrack.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
The sound, and when it's funny when I post on Instagram, and refer to, the DJs or musicians that we've had, it's the soundtrack to the movie that is your wedding. And there are
Hmm.
so many different moods, even, during the reception. There are so many different parts to it, and, maybe touching dances with parents, and then crazy people on the dance floor. I mean, it's like, it's
Yes.
really, you need to be able to cover everything professionally, and it sounds like you're absolutely equipped to do that.
Yeah.
That's our goal.
Tell us how the experience of booking a couple and how you figure out the music that you're going to play, and what's that whole process like?
Yes, so we try to keep everything fully customized to each couple. I don't think any
So
two
important.
events are completely the same. When it comes to song planning, obviously their first dances with parents,
Mhm.
those are personal moments. So we will learn any song. It doesn't, I can sing in 11 different languages. We've done
Wow.
weddings where I've sung languages that I've never spoken before. We've done a Nigerian wedding, and I learned 5 songs in Yoruba, and so it's really, we want to make those moments really come to life. So as far as booking us goes, super simple process. Reach out on our website. Yeah, there's a contact form on there, so we can get a little kind of a first view idea of what your event's going to look like. And then we customize it from there step by step, and we can actually build your collection, either build it from scratch, or we have 3 kind of prefix packages that tend to work well, and even those are customizable. We don't want to force anyone into a corner.
Right. Right. How far in advance should people contact you? How far out are you booking?
Yeah, so it's interesting. I got an inquiry the other day for 2027. It didn't even look like a real year to my eye, but they're they
No,
are
no.
they're coming
Oh,
in.
I know.
So I always say, we anywhere from a year to 18 months in advance is great if that's where you
Yeah.
are in your planning. Of course, if the fates align and we're available on a date that's a little bit more short notice, that can happen too.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm a really big fan, and I tell people this all the time. It's like, you're trying to plan your wedding and you talk to somebody you like, you just need to book them, because
Yes.
you're not the only person who's looking in October. You know,
Right.
you really aren't. And if there's something that if it really just doesn't matter that much to you, well, fine, just, but if you've met with a vendor or a professional and you really want, if you really, really love them, just book them.
You know
You know?
what's funny, Celia? I was reading the reviews, Ever After Band.
Uh,
It's everafterband.com on the website. I'll let our listeners know that we will have a link to the website and the
yes, we
Instagram so
will.
you can easily click on it. But one of the reviews that stands out, and you have so many fabulous reviews, is we booked them first before we even had a venue. I
You
mean, what a
know,
compliment.
yeah,
Like, we're gonna contact Ever After Band and make sure they have our date open, book them, and then we'll figure the rest out.
Right. It's like
Great.
love. You know when you know. I always tell our clients and couples that I know it's a big investment, it's a big plan. There's a lot of moving parts, but much like a relationship, much like love, you kind of know when you know, and if you go with your instinct, you really can't make a bad choice.
Right.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I also see that because I think of having a band for a big wedding, a big reception. You have the band, and there's great videos. Our couples can go to your website and look at your videos, and it just the energy and stuff. But you also do smaller affairs. So if somebody's only having, I don't know, 50, 70 people, you'll do that as well, right?
Absolutely. And it's funny because everyone's vision is completely unique to them. We've done intimate weddings with 40, 50 guests with a nine-piece band.
Love it. Yeah.
And or we have scaled the band back. We've done beautiful rustic barn weddings, and we've been able to scale the band back to kind of fit really what the
yeah.
couple is envisioning with their styles of music. We try to build their instrumentation out based on what their crowd loves the most. So we kind of have a little bit of, I won't call it an interview process, but definitely a discovery process where, because I'm also the MC of the night, I want to get to know the couple personally. I want to know them through and through. Um, this way we can really read the crowd. We don't bring set lists to anyone's wedding, because what worked for a wedding, last week might not work for this one. Every crowd is
Yeah.
different. We call it a musical fingerprint. So every couple and group has a musical fingerprint. So we like to read that crowd in real time, and the best way to do that is for us to get to know each other and
Yeah.
really get to figure out what makes you tick.
Yeah.
Everybody's group is different. And, in a way, I think that, it takes somebody with real talent to be able to musically concierge a night for 50 people. Because, if
Hmm.
you have 300 people in a room, at any given time, 100 of them are going to be dancing. It doesn't matter what you're
Right.
playing. But
Right.
when,
So
you
right.
could play anything. But when you've got a smaller group of people, I think it's,
The real
sometimes
test.
it's a real challenge to make that, to make that happen. Yeah.
You're so right. You're so right. It's kind of a percentage thing. So if you have a smaller wedding, you're probably the people who are absolutely closest to you there that night,
Hmm.
the smallest circle possible. And within that circle, if there are varied tastes, you really have to really keep an eye out on that crowd. You want to make sure we don't want anyone to feel excluded. Everyone should be welcome on the dance floor the entire night. We want to see your college roommate, air guitaring with your Uncle John. Those are the most
I
fun
know.
moments.
It's so fun.
Right.
I know.
That's so great. Do you like a DJ? Do you ever get like um any of the guests come up and make requests to
Do you
you?
let them? That's
That
a
so
better
yes,
question.
great question. I like to cover that with the couples ahead of time.
Right.
If it's
Good point.
okay, if they're open to it, we can do it. Um, funny enough, most couples are not for it, as you
Yeah,
could
no,
probably
I can
imagine.
understand that.
But we'll always take the hit. If your great Aunt Joan comes up and wants to hear the chicken dance or something, I would probably take the hit and just say, "I'm so sorry. I don't think we really know that song."
Yeah.
And
But
we don't know that song.
there's a way to kind of work around it so that nobody feels hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you have a favorite song that you like to sing? One of your.
Oh,
Oh,
that's a hot seat.
that is such a hot seat. Well, I will say this. What I love most about what I do, that my favorite part of my job is being able to jump from one thing to the next
Yeah.
and watch that reaction. When we go from playing the biggest dance song right before the dinner set, we will be doing Pitbull, and we'll be out on the dance floor with our horn section, and I've got my sunglasses on, and people are looking at me, is he lip syncing? And then we seat them for dinner, and then I'll sing an Andrea Bocelli song.
Yeah.
and just watching people's faces, to me, that is just, that's what it's all about. It's a moment that they'll never forget. It's a moment that they've gotten to share, and they've gotten to see something really special. So it's hard to pick one song, but I just love those moments.
Isn't that the fabulous thing about being in the wedding industry with
Yes.
that? Celia and I talk about that. Those
Mm.
there are those moments, the moments like when the father walks his daughter down the aisle, or the moment when during a
Oh,
ceremony when people laugh at a little story you might tell, or they cry, or I don't know. And they're so happy with you know what you did for them. It's such a
oh.
special occasion, and then it's those moments that make you go, yeah, this was pretty great.
Yeah.
It's such a blessing. It's the best job in the world. We always say our when we chat as a band, because we're just like all best friends here. It's like a big family, and we always say, isn't it funny? Can you imagine how many photo albums we're in, like wedding photo albums we're in, literally the most intimate day of a
Uh-huh.
couple's story? And there's a good chance that our smiling faces are also in that book. And that's just such a blessing to be part of so many people's
Yeah,
stories.
Yeah,
it
isn't that
is.
crazy? And then the other thing, like when you get asked by another member of the same family, or somebody that I'm sure you
Mm.
get this a lot, Rich, is somebody you I was at a wedding you guys were at,
Hmm.
and it was fabulous. I want to have you too, that stuff. So,
Yes, it's so great, and I love those weddings too, because you will run into, maybe the couple whose wedding you did originally.
Yeah.
Only this
Yeah.
time they're guests, and there's no pressure on them at all, and they kind of get to enjoy the band from a whole different point of view, because
exactly.
there's no pressure. They're just there to really have total fun.
It's a different experience. That's great. You have to tell me, I have to ask about this because on your website, again with the reviews,
Hmm.
um, Jeff Bezos, a
Yes,
founder of Amazon, just
yes.
says calls you guys just fantastic. What?
I know it's so here's the story behind that.
Uh-huh.
I love this story. We were doing an event at kind of an upscale boutique hotel,
Uh-huh.
um, right here in Jersey, in Princeton actually, and Princeton University was having some big alumni weekend kind of a thing. And so there were some big wigs in the room.
Uh-huh.
And this gentleman walked up to me, and he reached his hand out and he shook my hand and he said, "You guys are just fantastic." I
Uh-huh.
said, "Thank you so much." And he turned and walked away. And the bartender looked at me and he was like, me mouthed to me. He said, "Do you know who that was?" And it clicked immediately. And I went, "That was Jeff Bezos. Oh my God, that was Jeff Bezos. That was fantastic. Oh my God.
Ooh,
I
maybe
can't
they're gonna
believe,
call you for the.
oh, I would do his family's wedding in a heartbeat. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, yeah, maybe he will if they finally get married, him and his fiance, right?
That's
They've been
right.
engaged
That's right.
forever.
That's right. Or maybe they'll have a tiny micro wedding on a yacht somewhere and they just
Yeah.
need a nice band on their yacht. That would be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And what about talking about that? Do you guys travel at all,
Yes.
or do people even ask you to? And if so, how far will you travel?
Yes, absolutely. We have yet to do any international weddings as a full band, but
Yeah.
we do travel nationwide. We've done weddings all over the place. We are based here in New Jersey, so we do have most of our clients and work here in the tri-state area. We kind of extend as far into New England and things like that, but we've gone out as far as West Coast, Vegas, things like that. So
Wow.
we'll go anywhere.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's
Absolutely.
cool. Yeah. I, I like it.
Before we wrap this up, do you have any advice for a couple planning their wedding, planning their playlist, hiring you guys? Any advice, or and also any trends that you're seeing, even with the uplighting and stuff that you guys do?
Yeah, so one thing that I'm loving that has a lot to do with music is the private last dance. And I'm sure you've
Oh,
heard people talking about that, but
yes.
there's something extra special about that moment when you have a 10-piece band with a full horn section and the room is empty and you can look around and we're playing your favorite song, whether it's you know something by Chris Stapleton or even something more robust like a Frank Sinatra song with all the horn. There's something so special about that moment when the room is empty and there's a full band playing just for
Mm.
you. So romantic. So that's a trend that I am very much into right now.
I've heard of
Um,
that trend a lot, and a lot of people say you should do that. Obviously, I'm not there. I leave after the ceremony, so I don't see
sure.
it, but I've heard of it, and I've heard that people say if there's one thing to do, the couple should do that. It's quite a memory. What a way to, I love that, to wind
Oh,
up the night, just a private dance, the two of you and the big band. I mean, that's like something out of a movie.
it just gives me goosebumps. I'm thinking about it, getting goosebumps right now. It's such a beautiful romantic moment. I mean, there's not a more perfect way to end the evening.
I love that. And I'm going to let you answer the other one too, but I also want to say, do you get now another trend is they go off and privately cut the cake rather than stop the
Oh
party,
yeah.
stop the dancing. They just go over with the photographer and maybe their parents or whatever and cut the cake instead of pausing, stopping the party. And you MC, so are you seeing a lot of that as well?
Yes, very much so. I would say a private cake cutting has, from in my experience, is more even more popular than having the formal cake cutting. They'll just sneak off to the side, take some pictures, and we just keep the party going for them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep.
I
But
like
yeah,
that. Why?
as far as advice goes, I think,
Uh-huh.
I would say keep your guests in mind, right? Because I mean, this is really the reason why we're throwing a party to begin with. It's to have everyone else also really get to celebrate you. And um, while I love putting couples' personal touch into the music and things, I would say definitely keep your guests in mind and envision what you really would love to see your guest feeling that night. And then we can craft a soundtrack together that would work perfectly.
Yeah. Okay. That's good. That's good to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. Well, we thank you so much for being with us
This is
and
great.
joining us.
Yeah.
It's great. And you have a great website. You have other um great reviews. I mean, fabulous reviews. And like I said, I love the videos of you guys playing. So people can get a real feel if they haven't seen you at an event, they can listen to you right on your website. And yeah, and they can contact you right from the website. But thank you so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And I look forward, we both look forward to hopefully working with you soon or sometime in 2025.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. The world gets smaller by the day, so I'm sure we'll see each other sooner than later.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope so. Have a great night. Thank you so much, Rich.
Thank
Thank you
you.
both so much. Such a pleasure chatting.
All right. Bye-bye.
Take care now.
This podcast is brought to you by New Jersey wedding officiant Andrea Pertel, owner of For This Joyous Occasion Officiating Services.
And Celia Milton, owner of NJ Vows Now, also New Jersey wedding officiating services. We're up in North Jersey, and Andrea is down in Central and South Jersey. So together we cover the whole state, don't we?
Yes, yes.